What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to today's edition of Dream Firm Spotlight. And if you are an entrepreneurial accountant who is looking to get more out of every single day, despite the fact that you are already likely working too hard for too little money, then this is the productivity blueprint that you need to break through the income ceiling that you are currently experiencing. So let's go ahead and discuss how to solve the productivity problem. First, accountants' superpower is understanding the reality of a situation as opposed to the hype or the glamour of a situation. You have to leverage your own superpower for yourself. If you are able to give great advice, but you cannot take the advice you would give yourself, it's a massive issue. So for instance, I will oftentimes talk with clients who are, of course, accountants, and I'll ask them to show me their books for the last month. And so part of productivity is, again, like if you have an incredible skill set, but you don't apply it back to your own situation, you are losing a massive amount of leverage. And I'll tell you a small story about how I discovered this. And this is very true for anybody who's trying to sell you marketing, ambiguous bro marketing services. They're everywhere. But those bros can't even generate leads for themselves, but they're going to generate leads for you. They want to give advice rather than take it. And so when I first got started, right, big ego, like every 20-year-old man, and then the world swiftly kicks you right in the nuts, teaches you got to care about others before they care about what you have to say, right? So anyway, I was like, man, why am I struggling so much? And then I was like, maybe I should just do what I tell everyone else that they should do and see what happens. Crazy concept. So when you're working through trying to be more productive, the first step in the blueprint is leverage your superpower more. Look at your own situation with a clear set of eyes. Give yourself that 30,000 foot view and be like, if someone else was looking at my life, but I have all of the actual context for my life, what would the advice be that I would give that person? What advice would I give myself? And here's usually the advice that most entrepreneurial accountants would give themselves, but they don't follow, okay? One, I'm actually not that productive. I'm busy, but I'm not productive. And so I want to create a very important distinction between the difference between productive and busy. Busy is the hamster wheel. The hamster feels very, very, very busy. He probably, in his little hamster brain, he's probably like, I'm very productive too. That's what hamsters sound like. But in reality, they're not productive at all. They're not producing much. And so I ran through an exercise with a client, two clients, ironically, today, and they both came to the same exact conclusion before we even finished the exercise, which is I make a lot more money when I effectively delegate the things that are below my pay grade. I mean, it's so obvious. And again, it's obvious when you talk about it. Like, it's not that shouldn't be revolutionary, but like one of my greatest things, Mr. Hermosi says, it's not that people need to learn new things, it's they need to be reminded. So which brings me to the third point here, and to be perfectly clear, the second point is delegate what is obvious. Stop thinking you're putting on a superhero cape just because you're busy and that makes, woe is me. You're just stopping yourself from being literally more productive because you choose to shoulder more responsibility that it doesn't even make sense. Like it doesn't make sense. So look at it for what it is and create the leverage by getting it off your plate. Not complicated. There's plenty of people who are quote unquote behind you. In other words, they're still learning. They're not at your level yet. That would love the opportunity to do that work and get paid for it. So that frees you up to do more revenue producing activities. Third, new is dangerous. Okay. Now that might sound weird from someone who's just like, we're doing too many of the same things over and over again, but here's what I mean. New is pretending like bookkeeping isn't valuable enough, so you have to now go pay for a certification that is not recognized by the market or the government, that is just a made up thing. Like I can just say, look, you're certified as a tax strategic master planner person today. Here's your certification. Market doesn't know about it. No one knows about it. You might feel better about it, but that doesn't actually do it. It's just a new shiny thing because you're trying to create the illusion that what you already know is not worth paying for. What you're already capable of doing is like you want to downplay your expertise so that you can chase new things to think that it inflates your value. Now, is skill development important? Of course. I won't suggest that it's not. But if you're looking to get more out of each and every single day with your existing skill set, which is more than enough, generally speaking, to make more money than you currently are, like you don't even need new things. You just got to be better at the things you're currently doing. And better is a form of delegate better, right? Like pass things off better, train better, have better SOPs to follow, get better clients, improve your, like, again, if you have any clients, you already have some degree of sales skill. If you just focus on getting better at it, you're going to be more productive overall. And again, simple math really like opens up people's, like, it just opens up their brains to like, wow, obviously, if this is true, because other people have proven it's true, I should be able to do the same thing and get a similar level of result. And if you closed only 10% of all of your opportunities, which is honestly what most accounting firms actually close from non-referral sources. They basically only close the biggest laydown sales out there. Okay. So 90% of all the time spent on consults is wasted time. In other words, it's not productive at all. It basically has no value unless you do a little bit more sales development, skill training, and feedback by actually reviewing your own sales calls. Most accountants have never listened to themselves attempt to sell something in their life. And what's fascinating is that this is similar to what I said before, you can give great advice when you see something else from that third party perspective. But when you're in the sales seat, pretty hard. Very hard to give yourself feedback when you're like trying to like control your emotions, trying to read the situation, trying to think about what you're going to say next, try to listen to what the other person's saying to you, try to remember some YouTube video, some crazy guy, right, like said to do these things. Hard. What's very easy, and what I've seen, this is one of a very fun story, is when I was working with my father, we would do an in-person 3-day, 2.5-day seminar event all over the United States. And, we get like 10, 20, sometimes 30 accounting firm owners into that room. And on the last day, after they went through sales training for a full day, basically, we would do role plays in front of the group. Now, if you think public speaking is the biggest fear, role playing in front of your peers is a whole nother level of fear. So it was like pulling teeth to get accountants to want to actually participate in this role play. But what was really interesting is that everyone was good at critiquing the person who went through the role play. And so you would think that the next person who comes up after they've either given critiques or seen the critiques would do significantly better. No, they wouldn't. They would make almost the same mistakes or slightly better. But here's what we found in dream firms is that the best way to get someone to recognize the gaps in their skill deficiencies is not by getting a bunch of feedback from third parties after they've role played. It's by having them self-review their own role play. You're always going to be your own worst critic, but in sales, it's extremely beneficial. So how does this tie back to productivity? Well, imagine instead of only 10% of your non-referral sales consults convert, and rather 20% do, which is, again, that is just getting not even modestly good at sales. That is just being like pretty okay. Like it's just like passable, which is just a process, tone inflection, asking more questions than giving answers, making sure you ask for credit card information at the end and don't rely on silly proposal technology. I'm going to cover that in a second. But that is more or less the, like how you can dramatically increase your productivity, because the whole point of taking a sales call is to produce a sale, to be productive in that role. And so if you want to, it sounds scammy, but make more money in less time, but really it's make more money with the same amount of time you're going to invest anyway. There's arguably no skill more important than developing just modestly okay sales skills. And you can go from 10 to 20, you can double or triple your sales throughput with literally just reviewing one call a week for like 5 weeks. It's crazy how powerful and effective that is. But almost nobody will do it, despite me telling you it can make you way more productive / way more money. Okay. Next big step in the roadmap here of productivity, and this is the last one that I'm going to cover because I have to go home and help my wife. She's not feeling well, and we have little kids, so a lot for her to deal with. So we're going to keep this short. Last one. Okay. When in doubt, assume that you are not being productive when it comes to communications. Like, when in doubt, this is a branch of what I just said on sales, but communications is not just how good you are at sales. It's how good you are at creating leverage with your clients, with your prospects, with your team, with your prospective new hires. If you get better at communications, you're instantly more productive because you can express complex things simpler, so you don't have to repeat yourself in the future. You can communicate things more effectively, so people are more excited to take your call, want to speak to you, right? Like, so you stop playing phone tag as much. Obviously, we can get into system building. I cover that a lot on this channel, automations, filtering. Those are ways to be more productive, but I want to cover, again, the most important skill here. And the most important skill is how effectively can you get what's up here into the market? How effectively can you get someone else to do what you want? How effectively can you communicate your value proposition so people feel stupid not buying it? How effectively can you focus your attention and energy on a singular problem until it's solved? This is, again, goes back to the danger of new. 10 things started or 10 things at 90% are not as valuable as one thing done. And so when you're wondering, how do other people, how are they so productive? They're great at persuasion. They're great at analyzing their own situation and giving themselves advice. And they are ruthlessly focused on solving one specific problem. And so we'll end on this last note. This is a new rule in our community. Priorities is now a swear word. It is a bastardization of the word priority. Priorities is an attempt to suggest that you have multiple things that are all equally as important as the other. There is a singular priority. And so if you want to be more productive, identify what the priority is, focus ruthlessly on it, communicate efficiently with people as needed to accomplish it, and don't get distracted by new things that fundamentally don't move the needle or matter. They don't. They just take away from the one thing that's at 90% that actually is going to change the trajectory of your business, but you left it at 90%, you never got it to the final 100%, and then it stays at 90% for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months before you forget about it. And then it may as well never have even been started, because that is truly a waste of energy, time, and resources. So I hope with this productivity blueprint that you ultimately are able to achieve a lot more with every single day. Remember, leverage is nothing more than inputs and outputs. And if you're putting something in and you're not getting what you want out of it, you should reflect on this particular video and see if there's something you can do a little bit better from it. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember, only you can create your dream firm, but we are here to help you every single step of the way. Hope to see you inside the Dream Firms Network. Links will be floating down around this video to ensure that you also are able to potentially become one of our dream clients, and we can help you get more of yours. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you all very soon. See ya.